Hey guys, it's Joel Habenreich again, here to read the Gospel with you for the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Now, if you're watching this, at the time I'm recording it, so before August 4th. August 4th is the small group potluck, so go with your small group leader to see how you can sign up and bring something. Let's all meet everybody. It's open to, family, friends. It's not just members of small groups. So, also, August 3rd, first Saturday of every month, is Children's Rosary. If you have kids, bring them to pray the Rosary with us. So, we're actually jumping over to John's Gospel. We've been following this story in Mark. So let's begin. Jesus went across the Sea of Galilee. A large crowd followed him, because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. The Jewish feast of Passover was near. When Jesus raised his eyes and saw that a large crowd was coming to him, he said to Philip, "Where can we buy enough food for them to eat?" He said this to test him, because he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough for each of them to have a little." One of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good are these for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people recline." Now there's a great deal of grass in that place. So the men reclined, about 5,000 in number. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining, and also as much of the fish as they wanted. When they had their fill, he said to the disciples, "Gather the fragments left over, so that nothing will be wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 wicker baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves that had been more than they could eat. When the people saw the sign he had done, they said, "This is truly the prophet, the one who has come into the world." Since Jesus knew that they were going to come and carry him off to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain alone. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Why do you think Jesus asked Philip that question? I mean, John says he did this to test him because Jesus, of course, knew what he was going to do. He knew where the food was going to come from. Jesus asked him, it's reasonable to conclude, to draw attention, to kind of pull the disciples' attention to what was going on, to focus in, to let them know this is an important moment, and to remind them that they hadn't yet developed a habit of trust or faith that the Lord would provide. And he was going to first draw their attention to their own lack of trust, and then show them. Now, Andrew was on the right track, and we can wonder, did he see this child with the loaves and the fish, or did the child come up and say, "Hey, I've got this, can you..." Andrew at least brings it up. He doesn't say, "That's not enough." He says, "Look," because he is probably remembering the story from 2 Kings where Elisha fed, 200 soldiers with, a number of 20 loaves, I don't remember. A small number of food for a great number of people. God provided in that through his prophet. So Andrew remembers that probably, but this is a lot more people, a lot less food, and so he's clearly thinking that, well, we have less stuff, so we're going to get less of a miracle, even though we need more of a miracle because we have more people. But Augustine points out that this is absolutely nothing for Jesus. Jesus is the Word that God spoke to bring everything into being. He doesn't need matter at all in order to feed them. He doesn't need to start with anything. But Augustine points out that just as he brings a harvest out of a seed. One seed can bring about a great amount of wheat. So he uses these 5 barley loaves as seeds to bring forth an abundance of food, a superabundance of food. Augustine also points out that we're impressed by miracles like this because we don't see them often. They're not commonplace. They're out of the ordinary, but we really should be much more impressed by the normal state of affairs, which is God running the universe. So feeding a few people, even a few thousand people, can help highlight that, but it's not like the acme of Jesus' power and ministry. Now we see Jesus having the disciples go and gather up the food. It started out with 5 loaves, and now they have 12 baskets full. A superabundance, right? They grab their 12 baskets full, of course representing 12 apostles, 12 men who are sent out on mission, 12 who will pass on the ministry. Of course, the loss of Judas, but then they had Matthias, and then Paul, etc. But it's Jesus showing here that I have provided this, and now you are bringing this out to the nations. This is something to be carried on. This is not a for this moment thing. This is going out. So, and of course this is a prefigurement of the Eucharist. And after all this, they want to make him a king, and he gets out of there. I just want to underline the last line of this gospel. He withdrew again to the mountain alone. So he's doing the Lord's work, and after all this, he goes back to be quiet with the Father. So let's all take a lesson. Thanks. Hope you have a great discussion.